Hey guys, and welcome to some DLC news for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. So we've just heard that The Rise of the Phoenix is going to be releasing on the 23rd of December 2019. That is just a few days away, just before Christmas of 2019. We are getting Gambit, we're getting Cable, we're getting Iceman, and we're getting Phoenix in this new update. 4 heroes only. Gambit's moves seem to be a card volley throwing kind of mechanic where he can throw cards, and it also kind of like hints at his ultimate move, like he jumps up, he hits the ground, there's like a shockwave, and then there's this like kind of like pool of like purpleness, and it seems to be damaging all the enemies around him, and I think that is his ultimate ability. From what we can see on Cable, he seems to have an ability where he has his gun that kind of like floats off away from him and kind of does like a laser gun thing, and he also seems to have like a charge punch at the same time. I don't know if these are two separate moves or actually part of the same move, but you can see them on the screen right there. He also has a explosive burst where he kind of like pulls in power and then he like lets it out, and he also has a huge like power shot beam where he kind of like gets down on his knees and he shoots off into the distance, and in the distance you can see him like firing his shots off, but you can also see the laser beams in the sky all pointing in like one specific direction or one area, and he's just shooting at that location as well. Iceman's ability seems to be a one where he kind of punches the ground and like ice spikes come out of the ground and hit everything towards like, you know, like 2-3 meters in front of him, like in a kind of volley attack kind of way. He also has a ranged ice bomb attack where he kind of like points where he wants a bomb to fall out of the sky, and a giant ice bomb will literally fall out the sky onto the enemies. And I believe his ultimate form or ultimate move is where he kind of like turns into like ice, kind of half his body sticking out of the ground like a giant, and he just like smashes the enemies with like just ice everywhere, as you can see on screen. Phoenix's abilities look like she has a charge, very similar to most of the heroes currently in the game. The charge reminds me of so many heroes, actually. She has a fire burn volley, it seems like, kind of an ability where she floats a little bit and she kind of like burns the enemies in front of her. At least it seems like that. And her ultimate ability, I'm thinking, is this flame tornado ability, where she kind of makes this like flame tornado and like hits everything in a big like area, and then right as the ability ends, a like flaming phoenix will fly from the sky and like boom and just and that's what the abilities I believe we can see on screen from the two trailers that we've seen from the Game Awards. So there's no confirmed story or extra story content in the game. I believe they might just repeat story like they did previously with the first DLC, Curse of the Vampire, and it seems Phoenix is also going to be the bad guy. So they're going like how Morbius was the bad guy of Curse of the Vampire. It seems Phoenix is the bad guy of Rise of the Phoenix. At least it's given that impression. There's also a few new Gauntlet levels added to the game. The highest one they've actually showed us is level 180. So this leads me to believe that there might be another level cap increase, which means we're gonna have to level heroes up again. Yes, goddamn, man. It's just it's never ending, is it? Like just so many levels. Do you know how long this takes? I'm guessing maybe they'll increase it to 200 because they went from 100 to 150. I mean, the next logical jump is like, 200, right? Unless they're gonna go for like 175 and then Pack 3 is going to be 200, but we don't really know if there is going to be a level increase, but I do really really expect one. Another big thing coming this DLC pack is the Danger Room. Now there is a presumed live PvP or a computer kind of system where you kind of like train against the computer, or you go up against actual live players, another team of 4 different players, where you can actually use emotes in the lobby, like, like just using your character just to say stuff, like how you can in the game. You just press the button and you just like your character just uses emotes like voice lines or whatever, and you can use that to speak to the other players. Now the thing is, this is not direct PvP. At least what's hinted in the trailers is not direct PvP. That's the big kind of like little thing that they kind of avoid to tell you here, that it's not really PvP. You're kind of competing against the enemy's score. So now think of it as that you and your 4 players or 3 other players on your team, like you and your friends, go up against these 4 other random guys across the world, and now you're both competing against each other in this one trial. And this trial is, let's say, the first one to 200 kills. Like just a normal like Infinity trial. The first one to get 200 kills, and you can see at the top of the screen there, it actually measures which side is winning due to like, who's the closest to 200 kills. So you can kind of see your opponent's like progression versus your own, and to see how well you're doing. If you're going to win, is your team like kicking the other team's ass, kind of thing like that. It's going to be that kind of PvP, unfortunately. It's not really what we all had hoped for, but it's a step in the right direction. I'm very interested to see how it can go. The first level they show is actually a level 25 level, so it will be quite interesting to see this at like a very high-end gameplay. Can you imagine like pro teams competing to like kick each other's ass? Also, you'll know if you're actually better than other players if you try to do it like this. Another new thing that they add onto here, I believe it might only be in the danger room because they advertise it in the danger room sense and the like way that they're showing it, is that there are these special debuffs or hazards that are shown, and what they show in the trailers are these like this big metal foot falls out of the sky and smashes everything like on the ground and then disappears. It reminds me of like the Star Wars big freaking walking things. I don't even know what they're called right now. And there's another thing that's like a metal ball. And I can't really make out what it's doing. It might be like giving electricity or debuffing or damaging anyone near it. I think those are the hazards and debuffs that they're talking about. We're also getting four DLC costumes. Only if you own the DLC, you'll get these costumes. They are a new costume for Punisher with a kind of skull thing, looks pretty dope. A new costume for Morbius with like these purple wings and a nice like navy kind of outfit, looks pretty neat. A modern kind of Moon Knight with a like kind of like black and white mix up there. It looks pretty cool. And then a 70s Blade. Blade, what he looked like in the 70s. Pretty interesting. We're also getting 12 free costumes as a part of a free update for 23rd of December this year. So everyone playing the free version of the game, well, not the free version, but the game without the DLC, will be getting 12 free costumes, which will be a costume for Colossus, a costume for Cyclops, a costume for Doctor Strange, and boy, that looks sick, a costume for Elsa Bloodstone, a costume for Ghost Rider, a costume for Loki, which also looks pretty cool, and I've been waiting for this one for so long, a costume for Magneto that doesn't look weird. I actually really love this one. I can't wait to get my hands on this one. A costume for Nightcrawler that makes him almost look like a pirate, in my opinion. A costume for Psylocke, which has a really, really sick, like, leg kind of purple art. I like that one. That's pretty dope. Another costume for Scarlet Witch, which just seems to be like a bit of pink added in. A major costume for Storm. This is a completely different character kind of like direction for it. I really like it. It's pretty awesome. And my favorite of all here, which I'll probably throw on my team immediately, is a costume for Wolverine where he looks like Logan, but the old age Logan, dude. Like actual Logan costume. It is epic, dude. I can't wait to get my hands on some of these. Like, seriously. I want that Logan costume. I want that Magneto costume. I want that Punisher costume. And I want Iceman in my team, dude. Iceman's finally here, dude. Right here. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I'll see you in a future video. Thanks for coming by.